Management Studio and SQL Server Express. Have you guys were able to install that? Let me know if you are having an issue with that. We can look at. Okay, good. But I guess you won't have this Kimte database. You guys don't, right? So I will provide you with that in the messages. So I will go to the this course messages section and I'll send it there. So in the course messages sections, if you go to the messages for the course on the Blackboard, you will see that I have just sent out an email to all of you guys where you can see this email for the Kimte script. So what you will do, let's say if I'm sharing this screen, I'm just going to create a new server at the moment. So I'll just say register a new server. Sorry, register a new database, and I'll just say I'm going to delete this afterwards. Just going to show you that Kente one that I created, just starting it with the 8 MB and 8 MB. So I have now Kemte and Kemte one. I'm going to delete Kemte one afterwards, but let me just create a new query, or I can actually go ahead and say file, open a file, and the file that I sent you guys was this Kemte database. So I'm just going to go back. Sorry, there you go. So if you look at it, this is the same script file that I just emailed you guys. So you can open up this script file that I just opened up here, and I'm making sure that I'm standing in Kimte1 database because it's mine. You guys will go ahead and create Kimte. I'm going to create Kimte1 just to show you that how you will do it in Kimte. Do you guys get that? So once I'm done that, I browse this file and I'm going to say execute, and this is running on my Kimte1. You will run this on Kimte. So I'm going to run this and execute. This is going to create all of the content for me along with the rows here in Kimte database. So you can see now I have everything. I do have tables. I do have the data in that table, and I can verify that. I can see that there's the data in those tables, and this is just a copy of Kimte that I created on my system. So I can go ahead and delete that, because I don't need that because I already have it in my Kimte database. And obviously it didn't like my dropping this way, so I cannot delete this database. If I'll just go ahead and delete it one more time, so it is getting used somewhere, right? If I go ahead now, something is stuck. So if I'll go ahead and delete this, it is not letting me get rid of it. close all the existing connections. So if there's any existing connection, just go ahead and delete it. It is going to delete it for me, hopefully, yet it has deleted for me. So now if I go back to this Kimte database and if I have these tables, similar idea, but last time I created a view for myself. Remember, I created the view, which you guys probably won't have. So I can send out this view to you as well. If you want to create, you can create your view. If you want to oh, script view as create to, let's see what is happening. So it is not generating the script for me. So let's see what is happening. So I'll go ahead and design this. Might be something missing. This is the query for the view. If I want to execute this view, I can execute this view and see the results at the bottom. So it is showing me the result. So what is the issue? So let's say if I go ahead and close all of these, right click and say view, script view, create. So it is not giving me the query, but that's fine. I'll go to the design. I'll copy this. And what you need to do at your end, you will need to write in your query, create a new query. You'll say create view as whatever the view name is. And what's the view name that I want to create? I'll just copy this, rename this, copy this, and then paste it here. Create view, that's the name of the view, as this view. It is saying to me this view already exists because it already exists on my system but not on yours. So if I'll just copy and give this view to you guys in the chat window, you have that view as well now, right? But for me, if I'm changing this view, I cannot recreate this view because it says that this view already exists in the SQL Server database, so I cannot recreate. Well, recreation is not possible because if it is already created, but you can do what? You can always do alteration in that. And see, as soon as I typed alter, that underlying statement that was showing me that this view already exists and you cannot recreate is gone, because it allows me the functionality that's yes, existing views or existing objects can be altered, but they cannot be recreated. I hope you get this point. Recreation is not possible, alteration is possible. But for you, if you are creating object for the first time, you just copy and paste. But if you try to execute that same statement again and again, it will give you an error that this is not possible. Any questions on that so far? You guys are able to do everything that I have gone on? So something has gone wrong with my, because I created kimte1 and it is now trying to go to kimte all the time as a default. So maybe I'll just I'll close this and reopen up my SQL server one more time. Just give me a moment. I screwed up something with my SSMS by creating that kimte1. It is still stuck in the limbo of that, so I'm just going to connect. Okay, so let me go back in my tables. That is happening. I can go here, script table as, select to, and essentially it will create the same statement that's just like this, but it will not create top 1000 in here. It will just create a select a statement for me. Okay, yeah, I fixed my issue because I closed it. So you see that when you right click and say select top 1000 rows, it will select top 1000 rows, but if you want to delete it, you can delete this and it will create the whole select a statement for the whole table. Another way to create this same kind of a query is this way. Right click on it, script table, select to, new query. So if you do this, it will create a new, but it does not put top 1000 in it because the first one is saying top 1000 rows. The second one is just a not a top 1000 one. You are just asking it to select everything. All right, so they are essentially the same thing. So can I create the copy of the database? Not like this. In SQL Server, you cannot just say right click, copy and paste and a new database is created. Not possible that way. Right click, task, there is no copy. There is a copy database. Okay, so copy this whole database and there's some wizard with it. We'll work around with that. Wizard comes it, but it is not as easy as like copy and pasting. It is not like that. Let's do that because I haven't tried that. I'm sure you guys will not have this functionality. If I'll right click here and go task, I'm sure you don't see that many tasks. Do you see, guys, more tasks like this? Go on any database, right click and go to task and show me, let me know if you guys see more of these options or you guys see very limited ones. I'm sure if you guys have installed SQL Server and SSMS, you should be able to do a lot of stuff that I'm doing, but Express Edition has some limitation. I have Enterprise Edition, so it has a lot more uh, functionalities. Okay, let me just open up my drop down window. So right click, right click, task. I'm not sure you guys see all of these or you see part of these. Let me know, please. So I can copy this data from, and I showed you using ODBC, but ODBC was a different way of getting the data. I just can copy and paste the data from SQL Server to my Excel sheet, no problem, right? So now you are seeing my data, and I'm just showing the data that I copied from SQL Server and I pasted it in an Excel. Now, my question to you guys, data, and I'm putting filter on it. So there is, in this city column that you are seeing, I want to filter. There's a city named Cody, there's a city named Garland, Powell, whatever, and then Garland again and Powell again and whatever. But if I say I want to see all the Garland ones, I can put uncheck this and I click on Garland and I can see all the Garlands. I can see there are two people in the Garland, Billy and Elmer, customer ID 182 and customer ID 492. I want to know the balance. Oh, sorry. I'll just have to share my screen differently. And I'm going to change that. So if you're seeing my screen now, I copied and pasted the uh, stuff from my SQL server and copy and pasted. So as you can see, this is just a copy of the customer table. Okay, and I have in the the state is WY, but that's okay. But let's say Garland is here and Garland is here. If I want to say I want to filter all those that are in Garland, there are only two customers, Billy and Elmer. The total the balance of Billy is 43.13 and the balance of Elmer is 45.2. The total balance of both of them is right now showing up as 88.33. Do you agree? 88.33. Yes. Can you show me with the query the number 88.33 with the people living in Garland or people who ordered from Garland? So I'm going back to SQL Server and I want you to write the, I know I can see it in Excel. The data is there, but I want you to write it in a form of a query. So select all from customers, where city is equals to Garland. Will that give me the sum of those? I want to see the sum, 88.33. This is the same filter that you put in an Excel, which shows you two people, Billy and Elmer. I did it here as well in SQL Server, and I was able to see it. But my question is not that. My question is that I want to see some output like this. I want to see the output like this. City is Gar, and I want to say balance or sum of balance or whatever the name of the column you want to put. Sum of balance is 88.33. This is the output I wanted to see. Right. Only one student gave me the answer. Okay, so what do you want? Okay, so I want some suggestions, so that's good. So what you are saying? Yeah, good, good, good. So I can just take it out. That's what you are saying? Okay, so I'll leave all the columns as is, and you're saying put a sum here. Like this? That's what you're saying? Okay, let's try that out. Error, right? You must be thinking why? Because when you are aggregating, when you are summing it up, you need to get rid of all the other columns. First thing first. Okay? So you need to get rid of all the columns. Aggregation means you are summing it up. Because you were seeing the, so think of it. You were looking row by row, but now you are not looking by row. You are asking to aggregate. You are trying to cluster it together all as a one piece. So what you will need to do, you will need to remove all those extra columns so that you can at least aggregate. So now you will be able to aggregate, right? But I want, remember my output. What was my output? I was asking that, oh, I got rid of my output, but look at that. My output was like this, city and then sum, right? Something like that. And I said, I want to see Garland here and the sum of those to be, if I'll just give it a nicer look, 88.33, something like that. That is my desired output. I'm there and thereabouts, but not right. So what I need to show, I need to put a city here, city, and then comma. But you will see there will be a problem coming up fairly soon. If I'll put a city, again, same kind of an error, because cities are all the distinct rows. So what you will do, you will say that group by group, put that in that same group of aggregate function, put the city in there, group by city. So now what you will do, if you run this now, every column that you want to show has to be put in the group by. Let's look at that. So if I'll run this now, because I want to show the city individually, I put city, but as soon as I put the city, keep this in mind that you are breaking the rule of single row. So or aggregation. So you need to put city here, and then the cheat part is as soon as you put the column, the extra column apart from the sum that you have done or average that you have done or whatever the aggregation that you have done, you have to put the group by at the end and put that extra column there. So now if you look at that and run this, it runs fine. So first thing first, get the sum out. You get your sum. Then you say that I want to know, I want to put an extra column city because I want to know which city it belongs to. So you, as soon as you put the city, the cheat part is you put the group by at the end. If you don't put this part, it will not going to work. Because aggregation function has to be in the group by clause. It is giving you a hint as well. You are missing that the column which you just added to see which city you want to have. So you just say group by, oh sorry, control Z, group by city, and it will show that. Now if you run this part, works fine. Okay, so select all from, let's do it one more time. So let's see this. I'm just going to select everything from the customers for time being. If I just need to run this statement, I select this statement and execute. So it will ignore all the above, all that is below, not run. So let's say if I want to aggregate, I want to show credit limit as well, right? I want to see if there is, I want to see, let's say, postal code as well. City and then postal code. Postal, which is postal. Do you think it will run or not? What's your thought? Yes. Why it will not run? As soon as you start to add columns, you need to put them in which clause? Group by clause. So next thing you need to put is postal. Do you think it will run now? Sum of the balance is running on its own as an aggregation. City column you introduced, you put the city here. Postal column that you introduced, you need to put here, right? So as soon as you start to add columns that you wanted to see, you need to put that like this. 82435. If I just remove this postal from here and try to run it, aggregation issue. Every time you see this error, keep in mind you are missing out on that aggregation. Postal. So every time you are doing a sum or a count or average or minimum or maximum, all those aggregate functions, you need to put out the word that yes, this is how I will be doing the aggregation. Okay, I'll stop here for aggregation. I want everyone to set up SQL Server in SSMS if you haven't done so.